My mother-in-law has her fists so deep in my husband that she's convinced him our son isn't his and to get tested. Fine, then I'll give them what they want with a fistful of divorce papers. This whole situation is embarrassing, and I'm just done with it. I've been with my husband for 5 years now, married for 3. Long story short, his mom has always been overwhelming and bold with her input on everything, to put it nicely. I genuinely think it's not fair to be mad at your partner for something he didn't do himself. He can't control what his mom does or says. But what's also not fair is him not addressing it when I am clearly uncomfortable or upset, and instead just talking me into brushing it off or going with it. I never have, nor would I ever, have a back and forth with my mother-in-law. It's just not worth barking at each other. I always brush it off if it's a snarky comment, or if it's a better way to do something in her opinion. I'll just tell her thanks for the suggestion, but we are fine. It's actually true, the saying when you marry someone, you marry their family. I think the way to handle it is that each spouse should keep his side of the family in line, for lack of a better way to say it. I deal with my parents and their shenanigans, and I expected him to do the same. But he never did. Instead, he always asks me to give her some grace. Well, it's hard when that person is insulting you. For a while now, she has been making comments about how my son doesn't look like my husband when he was a toddler, basically accusing me of sleeping around. This, rightfully so, upset me. Sorry, my genes are strong? What am I supposed to tell you? I was short with my husband because he didn't address how out of pocket and disrespectful this whole thing is. It has been a week since my husband, well, soon-to-be ex-husband, told me that he would be doing a paternity DNA test, not because he thinks our son isn't his, but to shut his mom up. Yes, exactly what you read. I don't know which is worse, him accusing me of cheating or this, but all I know is that this is audacious. I didn't cheat, and I am not concerned one bit about the test results. I wasn't going to stop him from taking a DNA test or whatever, but I just know I don't want to deal with this any longer. I'm looking for an apartment, and I talked to a lawyer the day after he brought up the DNA test. We'll be getting the results in 2 days. I almost can't wait. He will also be getting divorce papers with those results, which I know for a fact he won't see it coming. I tried my best to make this whole thing work and to manage my relationship with my mother-in-law as gracefully as possible. But thinking about it, it's not just my mother-in-law that's the problem, how he is handling things is also a problem. And as a side note, I have never been more glad that I didn't leave my job when I got married. He makes more than enough to take care of the financial side of things. I thought I would get bored, but I only have to be on site 2 days per week. Also, I really love my job and the company, so I didn't leave. I know that divorce can be hard on kids, but I also experienced the other side. Living with 2 parents who hated each other and fought almost all the time is as hard, maybe even harder. They thought that staying together would be good for me and my siblings, but newsflash, it wasn't. It was traumatizing, to say the least. I don't want my son to live like that because, I'll tell you one thing, I just can't stand my husband anymore. I don't know if this is a weird way of saying it, but I just don't respect him anymore, if that makes sense. I just see an unreliable man, and I know for a fact that our fights won't be the same as before. I would have said what a waste of 5 years, but I have a sweet and smart gremlin now, and having a child really pushes you to be better and to do better, so I can't complain. Update 1. Here to update you, as a lot of people were interested. But real quick, I have a comment about my last post. Please, if you are going through something serious, think twice before posting it. Obviously, I was expecting people to tell me I'm overreacting, but seeing people leave comments like, "You're a disgusting piece of crap, and I hope he takes your child from you in the divorce so you realize what kind of monster you are," was unnerving. As for the update, the day he was supposed to receive the results, I called my father-in-law and invited them to come over that evening. My husband was working when he got the results. He sent them to me and told me he would talk to his mother to finally put this to rest. I informed him that I had already invited them for that evening and that I was just waiting for my apology before I left. I asked that he come home so we could talk before they came over. He called, and I basically told him that this is not working for me anymore. I've already talked to an attorney, filed for divorce, and it might be more expensive than a paternity test, but it would be more effective in making his mother happy. And no, I don't care that he was working when I told him. I don't think you would have either. He left work and came home. Long story short, we had a spectacular fight. He said that I am not thinking about our son and that I am overreacting because it's not like he went behind my back. And if he knew that I was this upset, he wouldn't have done it. But he knew how I felt about it. We had a heated argument when he brought it up. He just didn't care. When I gave him the divorce papers, he said he wasn't signing anything and that he'd ask his mother to apologize when his parents arrived to get it over with. Listen, I don't need him to sign it to get a divorce. It would only make things complicated, that's it. His mother said, "I have nothing to apologize for. I'm not going to apologize for having suspicions. I didn't accuse you of anything, and you can leave if you want to." So that's that. I did leave that night because I wasn't going to get an apology, and he didn't seem to understand that him reinforcing that it's okay for her to do what she did is exactly why I want a divorce in the first place. He eventually told his parents he'd be coming over from time to time to check up on them, as he is their only child, and not to bother coming over anymore until she apologizes. She wasn't amused. She told me I am taking her son away and some whore would take my son too. She is not someone that you can talk to, I'll tell you that much. It's like talking to a wall. All she knows is insulting or being passive-aggressive on a good day. But anyway, we are not getting a divorce, at least not yet. We talked the day after. He said I can always file for a divorce, but we should at least try couples counseling because he doesn't want to co-parent. Edit. He doesn't want to lose his son, plain and simple. Although it's not like if we were to get divorced he wouldn't be able to see his son, but whatever. He did say, when we talked the second time, that he can see how he was wrong, especially knowing his mother. He also mentioned that he'll just shut her down if she meddles this time. But what can I do with just words? I hope he can learn a thing or two about how to deal with his mother in counseling because she is truly overwhelming. If counseling helps him understand that a couple means two people, not three, and that our marriage is a bit crowded right now, that's enough for me. People saying that I'm overreacting in my last post made me ask myself, do I actually want a divorce, or am I just mad? I wanted the divorce at the time, it seemed like the only solution. But if counseling helps us, I can try to work things out. I hope this is a good decision. If not, I'm not stuck. I'll take my son and leave. I have a friend who got divorced in 20 days, an uncontested divorce. When you are on the same page regarding how things would be divided, including custody, it's a matter of how long the court takes to review and finalize the divorce, and you'll be done. That was my plan. Nonetheless, I'm the one working from home, and my son is still so young. It's totally up to him. If he wants to see his son every day when he gets off work, or if he wants to see his son just a couple of times per week. Because I am not tolerating this anymore. Also, someone asked, I'm curious why they asked for the test and why you're so against it? I don't want to assume there were some troubles in the past, but I feel like there's a lot of let up and information left out here. At this point, I've shared so much that these aren't too many details, I guess. I am not religious, and I also dated women at a certain time. She doesn't like that and thinks that me not being religious or not being straight means I have no values or something. She hates that her son married a non-religious person. He is a believer, but he's a non-practicing believer. Either way, his religion or my lack of belief doesn't cause us any problems in our day-to-day life. I hope this clarifies things for you. Oh, and one last thing. People in my last post were debating if paternity tests should be mandatory or not. I thought that from what I wrote, it was clear I didn't cheat and I have nothing against the paternity test itself. It should be obvious to everyone that it's not fair for the child nor the man to be tricked into living a lie. If he was the one who had suspicions, that's a big deal. We would have talked about why he thinks that, taken the paternity test for his peace of mind, and made sure we can trust each other, then moved on, all without anyone interfering, let alone requesting the paternity test.